From our studio at the corner of 8th and Walton in Bentonville, Arkansas, welcome to Saturday Morning Meeting, where we cover Walmart, Sam's Club, and the consumer product companies that are represented on their racks and shelves throughout the country and around the world. I'm Derek Ridenauer, and our focus is on the insights, trends, and best practices that will help you as a supplier manage and grow your business with the world's largest retailer. Coming up on today's show, Walmart is often criticized for hurting mom and pop companies and smaller retailers. We're going to introduce you to one such company here in Northwest Arkansas that has been competing and growing with Walmart in their backyard since 1962. Also, we will visit with Andy Wiseman on Walmart's Buy American program, as well as other headlines. That's all coming up. Now let's get started with your headlines. This week, the San Antonio Business Journal reported that Walmart placed second only to Amazon in the National Retail Federation's The Favorite 50 for 2013 consumer survey. The survey asked consumers to name their most preferred online merchant. While second place sounds impressive, Amazon still beat Walmart by a significant margin. 58% of survey participants picked Amazon as a favorite, dwarfing Walmart's 18% of the votes. Wall Street Cheat Sheet said Walmart has deeply discounted smartphones and tablets in anticipation of new electronics releases this fall. In fact, shoppers can pick up an iPhone 4 for 97 cents, provided that they sign on for a 2-year contract with Sprint, AT&T, or Verizon. Following Walmart's commitment to American manufacturing, No Nonsense is ready to expand its Made in the USA production. The hosiery giant recently announced its sock initiative, investing $28 million in the expansion of its U.S.-based manufacturing operations. No Nonsense anticipates that the program will create 100 jobs. From the Economic Times, Walmart announced that it is prepared to offer $50 million in loans to improve safety standards in Bengali factories. Walmart is part of a North American alliance of retailers focused on addressing safety issues in Bangladesh's manufacturing operations. The loans would be part of a larger funding package offered by alliance members that now stands at over $100 million. Bangladesh's central bank still has to approve such loans before they can be dispersed. The so-called Walmart bill is still sitting on Washington, D.C. Mayor Vincent Gray's desk. The bill requires large chain retailers to pay a living wage to workers that far exceeds the federal minimum wage. Opponents of the bill claim that it will cause major employers to halt expansion into the D.C. area, while supporters believe that it will raise the standard of living for workers. The City Council presented the bill to Gray on August the 30th. He has 10 days to make a decision. Carol Tice recently featured Saturday Morning Meeting in a post at Forbes.com. Tice wrote about the purpose and success of our show, noting that for startups and small businesses, our shows are, quote, the next best thing to sitting around the Walmart corporate break room listening to executives talk about what they're looking for, unquote. All we need now are coffee and donuts. Coming up, we're going to sit down with the CEO of Harps Food Stores, a chain that has been doing business against Walmart since 1962. Plus, Andy Wiseman will be here to talk about the headlines. That is all coming up on Saturday Morning Meeting.
Cameron Smith & Associates is suppliers' first choice in recruiting the competitive Walmart supplier job market. We connect qualified candidates to CPG jobs in Northwest Arkansas and across the country. CSA also sources sales and marketing professionals for companies providing advertising, marketing, merchandising, and data management services to suppliers. Contact us today at csarecruiters.com.
Today's show has been sponsored in part by 8th and Walton, the premier destination for Walmart supplier education. 8th and Walton offers a variety of services including new supplier onboarding, scorecard optimization, and analysis and reporting. Visit 8thandwalton.com/services to learn more.
Welcome back to Saturday Morning Meeting, joined now by Andy Wiseman, the CEO of Redwood Ventures. Andy, thank you very much. No Nonsense, investing $28 million, creating 100 jobs, part of Walmart's $50 billion Buy American program that they just recently announced. You're a small to medium-sized company and doing a lot of direct import. What's your take on that?
I think this is a great thing, first of all, for America. I think as American citizens, we all feel good when we see a program like this coming together. So it's very positive in that regard. And I think, we want to buy products that are made in America. We really do. As I've thought about this from my company's perspective and what it would mean for me if I were to go and ask the board of directors for money to invest in infrastructure, real estate, machines, and of course people, what would I need to be sure of? And there are a couple things I think I'd want to know for sure. Number one, what's Walmart's long-term plan? Is this something that they want to do over the long term? Is it going to last? I'd want to know that and have some assurances that this was something that Walmart was dedicated to for the long term. And then number two, when I consider that investment in people, especially in people, can I keep those folks working for a number of years, for a number of customers? In other words, can this investment be put to work fulfilling orders for Kohl's or for Costco, for Target, and for others like that? And those are the questions that I would ask myself related to this first.
Yeah, and certainly a good point, because if I'm your competitor and I know that you're going to be giving up capacity in China, and I now have a great opportunity to buy that almost at a discount and come back in and undercut you, and then be able to say, look, Walmart's investing, so I'm not going to touch Walmart, but I still have Kohl's, I still have Target, I still have Publix, I still have all these other retailers that I can go to that I'm sure are going to welcome a lower cost, higher margin that they can kind of capitalize on. So it needs to be the entire retail sector that's kind of stepping up.
Well, that's right. You know, and this America program, while we love it and it's great, and we know that it's going to benefit local economies, especially where these jobs are created, it potentially is going to cause prices to go up. Certainly, it's going to add margin pressure to domestic programs, which is going to, over here, increase the need for import margins, direct import, private label, to grow, so that Walmart's initial margins and other retailers, should they participate, you know, are whole as a blend. So it's going to increase the pressure over here on the import side as well.
Because the buyers still have their category average that they've got to maintain. All right, I want to move on, because another thing that Walmart's doing, kind of a goodwill story for them, is they're investing $50 million into the factories in China, in India, to make sure that they're safe, and to make sure that the employees who are working there are cared for and kind of taken. Well, they come to work and be safe. What's your take on that?
Oh, this is a great story. I mean, it's just. I guess when we go all the way back to Walmart's founding principles, one of Sam Walton's guiding principles was respect for the individual. We know that that's been near and dear to Walmart's heart, not just for store associates, not just for associates across the street here at the home office, but respect for the individual is being shown to be applied all the way over in Bengali with things like this, factory workers, Walmart Cares, and it's just a great positive story. I think some might raise a skeptical eye and say, oh yeah, Walmart's doing this because they kind of have to, or whatever.
And so this is.
Yeah, but look at what they're investing. They're not just stepping up and giving their fair share. They're taking half of this. 50 million of the investments are Walmart investments out of 100 million of the other retailers that are participating. So this is a very positive story. And it's proof that Walmart's values aren't just words on paper, that they actually live them out. So it's very positive. I like it.
I agree with you. I think it's a great thing for them. It's a great thing for, obviously, the associates and the employees in the Bengali district they're going to be impacted by this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Final thing we want to talk about, new survey out this week. Amazon, 58% of customers love Amazon. They were number one as terms of online retailers. Walmart was number two, which sounds pretty good coming in number two. Walmart only had 18% of those votes. What's your take on that?
Well, I know Walmart's not satisfied with being number two. I don't think any of us are. I'm not.
No.
But the big news here is almost that this is not big news. It is. I mean, it's a great story, and that's why we're talking about it. I think all of us know that Amazon is the best.
When it comes to online retailers, absolutely. Amazon beats them.
Yeah, and it's, I guess what makes this a great story is kind of a corroborating story. Stores.org is this publisher that follows the retail sector. This week I was reading a published survey of 50 online retailers where they were asked to rank their peers. Where's your favorite place to shop online? And those online retailers all voted for Amazon. They all love Amazon. So the people running online retail know that Amazon is number one. So I think what it is, it's not EDLP. It's not necessarily their massive assortment. It's not necessarily Prime. Although I love Prime, I do Prime, and it's a great thing. I think what Amazon has going for themselves more than anything else is momentum. Just as Walmart is the place in my local neighborhood where I know I can get something in automotive, I can grab a jug of milk, I can run over and grab some fishing lures, I can get the things that I need for my daily life easily and quickly in my local neighborhood. We know that online, Amazon is the place to go to buy what we need. It's that momentum that has driven their brand to the top of everybody's mind, even online retailers who are running online retailers themselves. They want to shop at Amazon.
And it's important to remember, Amazon, I know for many years during the .com, whenever that all came out, was consistently criticized about not making any money. They obviously seem to have turned that around. Jeff just bought a newspaper, so.
A pretty remarkable story. Well, they're still not really making money, but it's remarkable how still they've built this machine to where at some point they will have enormous profits rolling in. That's what the markets believe. They're the darling of Wall Street.
All right, Andy, thank you very much. We've got to leave it there. And we will be right back. We're going to sit down and talk with the CEO of Harps Food Stores. Harps is a local chain here in Northwest Arkansas that has been battling Walmart since 1962. That interview is straight ahead on Saturday Morning Meeting.
GigWalk is an on-demand mobile workforce that can collect data and do work at retail. Businesses use GigWalk for retail audits, merchandising, and much more. With 350,000 smartphone-enabled workers available on demand, you get unprecedented speed and coverage across the U.S., Canada, and the UK. And all work is reviewed for quality and accuracy. Visit gigwalk.com to learn more.
Today's show has been sponsored in part by 8th & Walton, the premier destination for Walmart supplier education. Since 2006, 8th & Walton's by suppliers for suppliers approach to education and services has helped thousands of supplier teams grow their business with Walmart. Visit 8thandwalton.com to learn more.
Thank you for joining us. We are joined now by Roger Collins. He is the CEO of Harps Food Stores, which ironically is one of Walmart's biggest competitors here in Northwest Arkansas. You guys have been here for a long time, and we were talking earlier, but one of the things that you always hear, or at least I had always heard when I was at Walmart, is that anytime Walmart comes to a particular market or opens up a store, that the smaller retailers, mom and pops, are going to go out of business. You guys have certainly proven that that's not the case. You're a local company as well, just like Walmart, kind of growing up in their backyard. I'm not sure who was here first. I think pretty close to the same time. But you guys have not only done well and held your ground, but you continue to grow. You're one of the top 25, top 26 fastest growing supermarket chains in the country. Roger, to what do you attribute that?
You know, I think there are several things. First of all, I think it was something that's been born out of necessity. In 1995, we did a leveraged buyout, buying out a 50% stockholder, and at the same time, we bought 10 Food for Less stores from Walmart, of all people. And so we added all this debt. Our debt was quadrupled, and we were in a position where we couldn't afford to make a mistake. We had to develop an attitude in our company of we're going to find a way to be successful. So we also began to have Walmart opening up neighborhood markets and more super centers, and so we were fighting and scratching to increase our EBITDA, or just really maintain our EBITDA and maintain our sales, but we had all this compliance with the banks that we had to meet, and so we just had to figure out a way to be successful. And then in 2001, we did an even greater leverage buyout when we did our employee stock ownership program. We bought out all the stockholders through a leveraged ESOP, and compared to the debt we had in 1995, we even doubled that debt. And so now we're faced with a situation where some of the lenders didn't even want to loan to us because our leverage was so high. And we were looking for every penny we could, and we couldn't afford to slip. We couldn't afford any foul ups. And at the same time, Walmart was opening 4 or 5 super centers a year, which was making it very difficult. But you know, we fought our way through that. And by 2004 or 5, we had paid down a lot of debt. And then we decided, hey, we can't just sit back and maintain our EBITDA and maintain our sales. We got to grow. And so starting in about 2005, we began to add new stores and buy some new stores. So I think over the last 8-year period, we've probably built, replaced, or bought just under 40 stores. So we've really been on a program, even when the economy was tough, of we're going to grow, we're going to figure out how to increase our stuff. It provides opportunities for our people. It's the lifeblood of a company to be able to, have people come to work and become store managers or district managers. So that period of working through the debt and then growing were both really instrumental in our success. And I think in addition to that, we've had a good strategy, and that is to try to be as competitive as we can on price. A lot of independent chains are running these high-low programs where they're putting 20 or 30 items on deep discount and then having to be much higher on everything else in the store. And our program has been to be as competitive as possible, not run the hot ads, and then try to have people see the value in our differentiation. Our produce, our meat. We're the first company to really run the no solution added, no sodium added beef, chicken, and pork. Friendly employees. There really no company should have as friendly associates as Harps does. We're employee owned. They are vested in our company. And to the extent that we can have them understand that, and to the extent that they can think about the customer as being their customer, it's really a competitive advantage that nobody really can match. And it's up to me to make sure that they understand exactly what it means to be vested. And our stock has done really great, so it's really not that hard to sell, but it's something you have to continually do. And then I think the final thing I would say is that I think we've been blessed with a lot of really great people, good character, really motivated, and they've been raised in this attitude of we've got to find a way to be successful. We've got to find a way to do these hard things. And I think we all believe we can do that.
You obviously have vendor relationships and partners similar to what Walmart does. And there are over 13 or right at 1,300 supplier teams here in Northwest Arkansas. Do any of them, what would you tell them? First of all, do any of them come and call on you directly? And if not, what would you want them to know?
I would say that we probably have a relationship with very few of that 1,300. And I think it's really a shame that we haven't been able to contact, engage, and collaborate with these 1,300 vendors. Because I think it would really be in our interest to be able to do that. And at the same time, I think it would be in the vendor's interest to do that. I don't see it as a zero-sum game whereby helping us somehow hurts Walmart. And I think there are a lot of things that we could do together that would help Harps and also would help them. So I would like to say, hey, we want you to be involved in Harps. We want you to be a part of our company, and call me. I'll try to set up the necessary meetings to make it happen. But I think we would like to build your brand. We would like to build equity in your brand. So give us a chance to do that. You're here. It's not going to be that expensive, so give us a chance.
Okay. What insights would you share, or what advice would you give any other retailer, whether it's a Kroger or anywhere else around the country that may be going head-to-head with Walmart?
I think I would tell them probably what they already know, and that Walmart is a great competitor. They're really tough. And I have to say they've done a wonderful job of being consistent with their strategy. Except for maybe 3 or 4 years ago when they maybe got off that a little bit. I think they really returned to the roots of, hey, we're going to be the low price leader, and we're going to stick with that strategy, and everything we're going to do is going to be built around that. And I think that is really important for a company to know who they are and what is their strategy, and then to make sure everything fits together with what that strategy is. So. You can't be all things to all people. You've got to figure out who you are. You've got to decide what are your customers, who are your customers, and what are they willing to pay for in terms of differentiation from Walmart.
Well, and I know from being here as well, one of the big things that Harps has going for it is that no solution added meat. I hear people talking all the time about the quality of meat at Harps versus Walmart. And so that has truly been a point of differentiation for you. Is that?
I think that's really true. And it was back in the late 90s and early 2000 when we were struggling to figure out, well, how can we do this? How can we convince people that we're different? Why should they come to Harps and maybe pay more money for our meat? And so the sodium in solution is a really powerful thing. And we thought if we go ask 100 people do you want sodium in solution added to your beef, chicken, and pork? That 99 of them would say no. A lot of people didn't know that, they weren't aware of it, and so our job was try to communicate that to people, and we probably didn't do a great job of doing that, but I mean, we got the message out to some, and so I think that was a great avenue for us to sort of say, hey, look, we're different. This is how we're different. Yeah, the meat may cost a little more, but hey, there's a reason for it. So I mean, to me, that was a really great tool for trying to say, this is our differentiation, and we think it's important.
What about dollar stores? What do you see those? First of all, where do you see those as a competitor to Harps, and where would you even see those going forward?
I think that they are a extreme competitor to Harps. Not they're going to come in and take a big percentage of our business, but every dollar store is taking some of our business. And as the vendors know, trying to increase sales right now is very difficult for you. You're having to work hard to figure out how to increase sales. And with Harps, having 20 dollar stores open in our area, all of whom want to take 3 or 4% of our business, that's very difficult. And I think this is another area where we can do a better job with your 1,200 vendors or Walmart's 1,300 vendors, in that we want to build your brand. We want to build equity in your brand. And that's different, I think, than the dollar stores. So we think we're a much more attractive customer to vendors than the dollar stores are. And so we think diverting business away from Harps to 20 dollar stores in our market is not a positive move for either one of us. But I think they're growing. I saw where they're going to put in 600 new stores this year. I think they will struggle a little bit as they add more groceries, and they have a high gross profit. I think that will reduce their gross profit. So I think they're going to have a harder road to hoe as they put in more groceries, and especially perishables. But you know, we still have to figure out what things do we need to do to be able to be successful even with those stores in.
Let's talk about distribution centers. You guys have one distribution center here in Springdale?
We have a distribution center in Springdale. We also buy from AWG out of Springfield, Missouri. So that's our wholesaler. And so a lot of our goods come in from AWG, and then a lot of our goods go to our warehouse here and then to our stores. So we both of those are distribution centers for us. And a lot of the stuff at our warehouse here comes from AWG. We've forward bought or deal bought in order to try to get merchandise in that we can be competitive on price with Walmart.
Okay. So what does the future look like for Harps?
I think the future, couldn't be better. This is like our year end is in August. This is going to be our 8th year of record sales and profits. I think we have a good program going. I think we have a good strategy. I think we have great people, and I think we can be successful going forward. I think people are excited about, our employees are excited about what's happened, about the opportunity that they have here, and so we're not losing a lot of people. People come, if they stay for a year or two, then they stay with us. We're going to have a party in a couple of weeks for 2 guys that have had 50 years of service. So that's on the extreme side, but there are a lot of people here at the office that have been here 30 to 40 years.
Great. You just opened a brand new store in Bentonville, just down from the Walmart home office. A great looking new store. Is that kind of the format that Harps will use going forward, and will there be remodels to bring the other stores up to that standard? Because it's it looks very good, very high standards. So what's the future look like for those prototypes?
I think it sort of depends for us on what the demographics are of the location for the store. And Bentonville has more middle to upper income people than most places in Arkansas. And so we would like to put some more stores like that in. I think that's limited as to the areas that will support that. And the stores that we've been putting in are 32,000 square foot stores that have gas and pharmacy, and they sort of are highlighted by perishables, meat and produce. And I think that's going to be the format that we'll continue to go forward with. But where we can put a store like that, we would really like to, because You know, it gives us a lot of points of differentiation with all the specialty food we have in there and the differentiation in the deli and bakery. So it's really a great tool for us, but we have to have enough people to be able to support that. One of the things that we have to think about when we build a store is, will it support having a neighborhood market across the street from us? Because most of our stores end up having a competitor of Walmart, some kind, right across the street. And so there are not a lot of places in Arkansas that we can put a store that's going to do $500,000 a week. And so building 50,000 square foot stores has not been is not an attractive thing for us to do. So we have to think about, well, how can we be successful today, and how can we be successful if we have a competitor across the street from us?
Okay, so finally, if I'm a supplier and I want to do business with you, and I'm here calling on Walmart, where do I need to go? Are there supplier agreements that have to be signed? How do we start that whole process?
Well, the first thing to do is call me, and I'll put together a meeting of our key people and you, and we will do whatever it takes to work with you, because we have to get better. We have to find a way to get better. And I know many of you are struggling to figure out how to increase sales, and we want to be that person to help do that here. And so I don't see it as something that hurts Walmart. It's something, if we can sell more Campbell's soup instead of generic soup, we want to do that. And so if vendors will call me, and we'll get meetings set up, and we would really like to be more involved with you. And up to this point, I haven't done a good job of making that happen, but maybe this will be a way that we can get that message out there.
All right, well, we'll put your number on the screen so that someone wants to call you, they can call you. All right, Roger, thank you very much. Final thoughts from you on anything, especially as we talked about the suppliers, but anything, final statements that you want to make sure the suppliers understand?
I think Carps has a good reputation. I think we have a good brand. We have a record of success. We're a company who's tried to do the right thing, to try to do the ethical thing. We've got we have a number of great employees and managers that are in the communities, and so I think we're a brand that would be good for you to work with, and so we hope that you'll think about doing that.
Okay, Roger, thank you very much, and thank you for taking the time to join us today.